Here are the top 5 questions I would ask if I were interviewing a new provider in the beginning of my pregnancy. My name is Lena Marie Gorski. I'm a birth, a postpartum doula, a childbirth educator, and a mom of 5. And I am here to give you a few interview questions for a new provider because at the end of the day, these providers work for you. First, I would really introspectively think about what I want when it comes to the birthing process. And for most of my clients, inductions are a big thing. So I would generally ask, what is your induction policy? Some will not tell you the induction policy until you get closer to it, and then they'll say at 39 weeks, we want to induce. So I would generally ask beforehand, what is your induction policy? Some have none, which when I say none, it would mean you can go into 42 weeks. Evidence-based practices show you should not go beyond 42 weeks. And some say 39 weeks. So you really need to talk to them and see what is your policy and do you align with this policy? Another question, if you're planning on having a doula, ask about their views on doulas because there have been things circulating on the internet where people are saying they don't want you to have a doula and this practice doesn't respect that. For me, I think that's a red flag. If you don't want someone in the room helping your patient to understand things a little bit better because you want to have full control, that's a little weird to me. I think that's a red flag. That's my own personal opinion. Maybe you don't want a doula, but I think that that's a very big question because that also shows how they feel about support people in the room. Another question that I would ask is, what is your policy on pushing? We don't think about this until it's time for the baby to come and we're ready to push and we want to do what's most comfortable to us. And at that time, a lot of people are being told to do what's most comfortable for the person catching the baby. So I would ask, what is your policy on pushing? And really think again, introspectively, how you feel about pushing. If this is not your first baby, then you know how you felt pushing the first time. Some people are fine pushing on their back, and some people really do not want to do that because of tears, because of what's more comfortable, because of gravity. So really think about how you want to push and ask that question. Another question that I think that you should ask is, what are your views on birth plans? So I've said previously, not a lot of times, but there have been times where doctors have said, I don't respect a birth plan. And I think that that means they don't respect you. Okay, they don't think that you can handle what's going on. So really ask, what are your views on birth plans? Do you read them? What do you think about them? When should I bring one in? And again, what is your view on a birth plan? Do you want to have one? Do you want to, write your wishes down for people to read? Do you want your wishes, respected? So that's a big one. And it really does show about a provider. The last question, and a really big question that I think that everybody should ask is, what are your mandatory tests and procedures for your practice? So this way you can set yourself up to know what you have to do and also your own expectations. So I'm not talking about a glucose test. I think a glucose test is important and, in most practices it's pretty standard. But we need to talk about our cervical checks required at 36 weeks. They shouldn't be. Your cervix is not a crystal ball, and it should be up to you if you want that cervical check at 36 weeks. You should also be given the benefits and the risks. There's really no benefit to getting a cervical check, but the risk is that you can have premature rupture of the membranes. Do you want to, find these things out? Another thing, intermittent monitoring. You really need to ask them their views on that as well, and talk about those things. Oh, am I going to be able to freely move around when I'm in birth? All of those things, all of those policies, because really it's not their birth, it's yours. And at the end of the day, these people work for you. Your insurance pays them. Now, you also are paying them to keep you safe, of course. But I think the bar is on the ground when we say we just want to be alive and have a baby that's alive. I think at the end of the day, we also want an experience where we come out, where we feel that we were heard, we were respected, and also that we felt as if our body was still our own. I think that a lot of times people put the bar on the ground and give other people too much control over their bodies. And really, we have the power at the end of the day. Ask the hard questions. Do all of those things. It's okay. You have a right to do these things. If you would like the full list of questions that I give to my clients, as well as the questions that you should ask during your labor, always the benefits, the risks, and all of those things, leave a comment below, or you could just go to the link in my bio, click on it, and join my email list today. Next week, we're going to be talking about birthing with an epidural, and then the week after, we're going to be talking about birthing without an epidural. I think it's important that we learn all of our options, what to do if we decide to get an epidural, and what to do if we decide not to get an epidural. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. Be sure to follow along with me for more birth education. And as always, I am here to help you birth with a voice.